Hi, Mickey.
How are you, Amit?
I'm doing great. Good to see you. We are live.
Thank you. Yes, of course, we are alive.
Definitely, in this uncertain time period that we are in, I think that people who are healthy and fit, they
Huh.
should be glad about that. Yeah.
Life is and life was always uncertain.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because very interestingly, before we start with this conversation, so since you just mentioned about this part that life is very uncertain, I was actually speaking to somebody, one of the leaders lately. So he mentioned
Mm.
that people have been talking about this pandemic. People have been kind of taking a lot of precautions about how to move out, how to behave, what is the new
Mm.
normal, right? And
Mm.
he simply said that you need to kind of try and relate it to like an accident, right? So it can happen because of your fault or somebody else's fault. And how
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you preparing yourself for an accident when you start driving your car, right? So you just take care of the rules. That's it. And it
Let
was
me,
so simple to understand.
yeah, let me tell you that everything about the past, a couple of hundred years back, before science came in, everything was so normal. But after science came in, everything became so abnormal. So I think, but I mean, science is a boon and a bane. It's because of science we are talking today.
I think that absolutely true. It's the perspective that how do you look at things
That's the
that
perspective.
actually
Yeah.
change the entire meaning of any sentence and
Yeah.
any theory.
It's a
So
double-edged sword.
I so agree with you on this. So I think that we have few audience who have already joined in, and I think
Mhm.
that without taking too much of the time, as in I think that we should quickly introduce you. And first of all, wishing a wonderful evening to everyone. I am your host Amit Kapoor, and as always, excited to welcome you all to another thrilling edition of our weekly series, Vast Story. Uh, Here we invite eminent experts from various domains to discuss on few key life skills topic and deep dive into their professional and personal lives. So before we proceed further, I wish to thank all our viewers and Dr. Mickey Mehta, right, for their continuous support and obviously the viewers who have been engaging with us through our other sessions that we have done in the past, which always keep inspiring us to come back with more exciting episodes and conversation. During the entire conversation, I would request the audience to engage in the conversation, ask questions, share your thoughts, put it on a comment section. We'll try and take up all the questions that you write. If in case we'll be able to kind of address those questions during this session, we'll be glad to take that. But if in case we would not be able to take it right now, we'll try and kind of answer back later after this live session. And if you are there live, please give some thumbs up and give the algorithm a little bit of rocket fuel. Let's get on to the decoding the topic today, and the topic is the revolution in evolution. It's a very interesting topic, and the idea behind this is to shed light on the ongoing and constantly moving nature of the approach human have to a healthy, fit, and a balanced life. This change has indeed been positive and been pushing people to a better and healthier life now. So the evolution of fitness as a very strategic element for a good life has in turn pushed this revolution we're talking about today. And to steer people to the right way, we have a special guest with us who has indeed ignited the very flames to start off a health revolution for people globally. So, welcome, Dr. Mehta. It is a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Amit. Thank you so much.
And people, I'm sure that you do not need any introduction, but still, people who know Mickey about who know about Dr. Mickey Mehta, and people who do not know much about Dr. Mickey Mehta, I just want to kind of give you a short introduction, which might help you to kind of go ahead and relate that how strong and why exactly that he's been called as a wellness guru. Uh, to give an idea about who Dr. Mickey Mehta is, um, he is a world-class health guru and a holistic life coach who has joined us today on our Vast Story platform. So, Dr. Mickey has been a part of a field of healing and wellness for whooping 38 years now. I'm sure that people would have been surprised looking at you that it is 38 years that we're talking about, right? The figure is huge. So I think that we should ask this question later. How could you keep yourself so fit and young? I'm not asking your age, but definitely I want to kind of put that question across to you, Dr. Mickey Mehta. So his and I think that in these 38 years now, right, with his achievements, setting a benchmark in the wellness industry today, he's featured in Global Wellness Conclave, listed as 100 most impactful wellness leaders of the world. And in economics time, he's been known as a health and a wellness icon of 2018. So having coached, I'm sure that he has been having coached many Bollywood superstar, top politicians, several Miss World and Miss Universe. Mickey has further helped to train the police, army, navy, and air force personnel too. He wears a multiple professional hat, being an author, poet, philosopher, a brand, the institution, and a legendary. His book, The Shunyam Quotient and Lose Weight, Gain Shape, have been the best sellers in the market, being immensely celebrated amongst its reader. With his speaking sessions at Harvard University, IIMs, IITN, and his holistic health workshops globally, Dr. Mickey has indeed been the fire of the health revolution. So I think that's a very short introduction that I tried giving you, because otherwise, uh, introducing you as an I can't express it in words.
Thank you.
So
So,
first of all, I
Amit,
wanted to know the mantra behind you being so fit. I was surprised
hmm.
when I got to know that it's been most close to 40 years that you've been a guru, right? A health guru. So we all probably wanted to know a little bit more about your personal life, how you have, what made you focus into this, and then since how long that you've been driving and practicing yoga. What are your key mantras?
So yoga, I finished, completed 50 years of practicing yoga. I'm
Wow,
all of 59, and I'll be 60 in August 2021.
my
And
goodness, it's
yes,
unbelievable.
of course. And it's Dr. Mickey Mehta for the world, but for the people who know me, it's Mickey Mouse in the house. So you can call me Mickey Mouse, and I'm as mischievous as a mouse, and I'm as young at heart as ever, because one never grows old. When one stops growing, one becomes old, and I plan to keep growing and keep growing to perpetuity. So my mantra of life is that I think we are here only to evolve. So when you were asking me the topic, and I told you that let's start a revolution for evolution of mankind, the famous words of Mark Twain comes to my mind, that there are two most important days in human life: day one, when you're born, and day two, when you realize why. I have realized why. So my purpose of life is to heal the world. And I mean, it's not about being in a saffron robe, healing the world like this. It's about facilitating the healing processes in people, because every human can be a healer. And he has to heal himself first. So heal thy, heal them, heal thou. So health means heal thy, Health. The etymology of health. And if your purpose is only to evolve, then you will self realize the purpose of adding value to this universe with your genetic signature, skills, and talents that you're born with. And this is what you got to hone, define, refine, and fit into the larger jigsaw puzzle of this world. And there you go. You merge with the universe, and you become the co-creator of this universe. And then I always tell people that don't chase dreams. Okay? Have a purpose. So once you have a purpose, your dreams will be fulfilled by the universe. Fulfill your purpose, and the dreams will be fulfilled by the universe.
Great.
And I think the only driving mantra which you asked, that what keeps you going, it's the faith. And faith is the most powerful tool. And you know what? It's a great paradox. Faith in uncertainty, because God could be also defined as something that is uncertain,
Yeah.
because the future of every moment is uncertain. And today, it is said that indeterminism is the order of life, because 95% of our genes are
Yeah.
indeterministic. This is what epigenetic science tells you. And the 5% which are deterministic, which could be faulty, I mean, the
Yeah.
faults are never in the stars, they could be in the genes,
Yeah.
and which could be faulty, you just don't trigger them, because it is said that the genes hold the gun and the environment pulls the trigger. You don't allow the environment to pull the trigger. You make your environment such, which is always healing, calming, soothing, and play. Play like Krishna. Life is a leela. It's a
Yeah.
play. It's a dance of Shiva. So play with your 95% indeterministic genes and determine them for only healthy, healing, harmonious living.
Great. And think that this is so simplified that you tried making people understand that how you need to kind of take care of yourself. And once you have that faith, right, and things would automatically fall in place for yourself, for you, right? So whatever that you want to achieve, it would all happen, right? I think that nature would also play a very important part, helping you to heal.
Absolutely. And self realizing your true nature and self realizing the nature of the scheme of things and nature of reality is like, a very good adage from Bruce Lipton, a very leading biologist of today's time, comes to my mind. He says that your belief can change your biology. And that is so true. And what is belief but faith also?
Absolutely.
One aspect of faith is belief, and the biggest aspect of belief is faith. So he says your belief can change your biology. Dr. Mickey Mehta says your faith can change your physiology. Your breathing, your regulated rhythmic breathing can change your hormonology.
Wow.
Prayers, meditation can change your emotions and psychology. So if you are faith driven, you can constantly keep changing everything around you for better harmony, better healing. And a constant change is nothing but making you the choreographer of your own change. Don't let the change go to dogs by leaving it to auto. No. Since we were not made on assembly lines, let
Yeah.
our life not unfold on an assembly line. It has to be consciously driven in all awareness. And which is why, in Sanskrit, we say swasth means swayam mein sthit, swayam mein upasthit, swayam ki upasthiti, स्वयं में होना और स्वयं को होने देना, which means allowing the nature to work for you. You simply cooperate like the potter who puts the hands and just allows it to
Yeah.
take the shape it needs to you take. And very important is an absolute faith will just change everything in and around you in life. So health is within, harmony is outside, and health and harmony put together makes you a healer.
Great. I think that amazing beginning of the session. And during this entire session, I'm sure that there are going to be a lot of takeaways that we would have it from
Yeah.
Dr. Vicky Mehta today. So let's move to the topic today. And the first question that I have, and to kind of elaborate a little bit more on the question, I would say that I was reading an article which says that as per the Global Wellness Institute, wellness is a
Yeah.
modern word with ancient root. And when we talk about the evolution of wellness, it has actually started as early as 3000 BC with Ayurveda, and Ayurveda has been originated as an oral tradition and later been recorded in Vedas, and which is like four sacred Hindu text, a holistic system that actually strive to create a harmony between body, mind, and spirit, right? Which you just mentioned about it. And
Yeah.
and till even 1980s, wellness is a word you don't really hear it every day, right?
Hmm.
It is in the
Yeah.
21st century when the global wellness movement and market reached a dramatic tipping point, right? Where fitness, diet, or healthy living, or well-being concept and offering have flourished widely, and the concept of wellness is transforming every industry. I think that from F&B to a corporate to a travel industry to everywhere now, everybody has been talking about wellness. So, wanted to understand how has the concept of health and well-being evolved over the years, and how is the practice of traditional Ayurvedic healing is different from a conventional therapies that we have.
So Lord Dhanvantri and Shushruta. So Ayurveda is documented 3,000 years back,
Yeah,
but the existence of Ayurveda has been from time immemorial. So we, since our civilization is the most ancient civilization, so even before language came into play, so I think the written word is not more than 6,000 years old, the
yeah,
writing, and the spoken language is probably 20,000 years old. And before that, before there was language, there was something called prakat. And prakat was expressing
yeah,
and expressing feelings.
yeah.
So expressions eventually gave shape to language. And the man got most misunderstood when he started speaking. The language of silence is the best. Okay. Now coming to the point that our Rishi Munis were seers, they were philosophers, and they were scientists, and they were poets, all bundled into one. Why do we call them seers? Because they were observing nature for decades together. And in their observation, they found a lot of laws that transform nature with reasons and seasons and how humans could adapt. Then they realized that the nature of reality was nothingness. It was not a thing, it was not object, it was not subject, there was no duality. They realized Advaitam. So the first quotient, the first health quotient came through meditation.
Yeah,
All realizations happen through stilling yourself,
yeah.
which is why perhaps the well water is the most healthy to drink because that water is still, it's not running.
Okay.
Okay, so well water is the most healthy water to drink. So they were seers, they were observers, they were scientists, they were philosophers, and they watched the mountains, the characteristics of trees, the values of the sounds of the birds. Okay, they understood the oxygen, the relation between the oxygen and the trees and the lungs.
Yeah.
They understood that what rivers represent and oceans represent is nothing but circulatory system in your body.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually they understood that synergy and synchronicity between a human body and the cosmos. And the closest in the cosmos is our galaxy, and the closest in that is 9 planets, and the influence of the energies of 9 planets on human beings. So, like if you would stand maybe 100 meters away and scream at me, I will be able to hear. 200 meters away may be feeble, 500 meters maybe not. So similarly, the planets and galaxies which are most away may not influence us as much. But our solar system will certainly influence us. So they began to understand and self actualize the impact and the influence of the environment and surrounding, and we not being separate from the existence at all. So, first understanding of health and healing came out of that. And then also came the understanding of the forces of entropy. So time, matter, space, light, motion, mass, causation, effect. So when they understood the non-change, they also understood what could destroy.
Yeah.
And to counter that, they came up with the system of Ashtanga of yoga. To counter the 8 forces of entropy, they came out with 8 counter forces. So yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dhyana, dharana, samadhi. If I were to decode each one of them, I'll do it in brief. That yama niyama is discipline, being in charge, anushasan, and your dincharya. Asanas are postures and poetry, the movement and the flow of life. Asan A means a seat and the seed of awareness from where you perceive the whole existence as one, from where the confluence of energies, congruence of geometries, consonance of your cortex, and and your limbic resonance connects you to the whole cosmos. So asanas. Then prana, pranayama. So prana is the life force, is that single most life force which connects everything to anything, and everything is born out of that. From nothing to the whole existence, from the Big Bang to now, the whole evolution is constantly driven by prana. Pranavayu. So in Ayurveda, it is said that we have five vayus governing our human constitution. So one is Pranavayu, which takes care of your holistic entire being. Second is Vyanvayu, which controls and manages your heart. The third is Samanvayu, which functions, regulates your stomach digestion. The fourth one is Apan Vayu, which takes care of elimination of toxins. And the fifth one is Udan Vayu, is upward self-realization, self-actualization, connecting intuitions, foresights, insights, extrasensory perceptions, multisensory perceptions. Only once you've achieved, purified, integrated, fortified, regulated. Only then. So once you evolve.
Ah,
Yeah. So the history of wellness goes back 100,000 years. In fact, Pythagoras, 6,000 years before Christ came to India, when he learned about Mahavira and Jainism, the science of wellness and well-being, 6,000 years before Christ, he went back and spoke about Jainosophy.
yeah,
In fact, science was a branch of philosophy. Physics was a branch of metaphysics. So everything that is very tangible was a part of the human understanding of Indian Sanatan Dharma, which they perceived, and they said the earth is round when they said Bhugol. Thousands of years before science was born.
yeah,
And they called Jagat, Jag jiski koi gati ho, which means earth is moving, which nobody, even the Pope's position, the position of the when the Roman Catholic Church didn't realize and didn't know, and they were struggling to find that out. But Indian seers said that. So we were calm, we were integrated, we were full of equanimity, we were completely civilized, we were evolved, and Indians taught the world what evolution is, what wellness is. That wellness which came to light in 80s is hogwash. Markets driven wellness will never sustain human life ever. They'll destroy human life. And 90% of the wellness spoken about is nothing but medicines, medical
yeah.
science.
Agree. Yeah,
Imperial, empirical, medical science. 300, 400 years back, when the British came to India, they, India was so rich, India was so intelligent, India was so wise. Can you imagine if thousands of years back the Chinese kings and princes across the world would come to India to learn in our first university of the world? And can you imagine that the 20 years of Christ's life in the chronology which were lost, people have traced back to India, and now people are believing it? And it is said that he was either in Munger or Kashmir and he learned yoga and meditation happened to him here. And by the way, meditation and yoga is not Hindu, so it shouldn't be, and it is universal. It is meant for every such wanderer or every such settler to learn, evolve, and grow. So India has given wellness to this world, and so the British system systematically dismantled, discredited yoga and Ayurveda, and then divided the minds.
yeah.
This is why they could rule. This is why they could rule.
I think that they packaged it smartly, right? So
They
the
packaged it,
origin
yes.
is from Ayurveda, and then I said that Ayurveda and Yoga, it actually have got another A added by the Britishers and the Western part of the world, and it became Ayurveda and Yoga, and it actually been marketed well in India back, or rather
Absolutely.
globally now, I would say.
Absolutely. I think people like B.K. Sayangarji, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, Sadhguru, Baba Ramdev, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Ma Hansaji of the Yoga Institute. I bow to all these gurus of the world who literally took yoga. And of course, I bow to Osho for making meditation very, very successful.
Yeah.
worldwide. And most importantly, I think a Nobel Prize should go out to Dr. Deepak Chopra for taking back yoga and Ayurveda to the world and bringing it in tandem with science
Yeah.
and explaining it and validating it scientifically. And now it's we are in a golden period, and of course, now I will take it over from them and take it forward.
No, great. But you touch base another very important point about how exactly in the modern day the Western medicine has brought many wonderful life-saving advancement. But one of the
Yeah.
downfalls of Western medicine is the often it is an isolated approach to health, which looks at the body in a section of an individual symptoms or a pieces rather than a whole system. It really is, and this is why the holistic health is so important, because to truly achieve optimal wellness in the physical, mental and spiritual sense, we have to be viewing and supporting the body as an incredible system it is overall. So instead of an isolated part, as in we generally consider that physical is wellness, or probably mental well-being is wellness, or probably spirituality is about considered as wellness.
Let me throw some
Absolutely,
light on
Rahul.
this.
Yeah,
I think in 80s, the world woke up when you said wellness came. The word wellness came to fore. The world and even science woke up to this. Literally in America, personalized medicines came into existence with bioengineering, and personalized medicines were, literally targeting with classical Ayurveda herbal extracts, the anomalies and diseases and ailments in human body. But I think
yeah,
the whole pharma lobby has put that on hold for a while because they had to literally exhaust everything they had
yeah.
invented. So, piece by piece, year after year, new medicines have to come, exhaust them. Like a Honda would have a model ready for the 5 years
Okay.
next,
Yeah,
but they would not take it out because they need to exhaust and keep selling now.
yeah,
That's number one. Number two, Ayurveda looks into the personality and treats the personality and not the body, because the disease, the disorder is in the prakriti of the human being. So
yeah.
मनुष्य से मन का जन्म होता है और मनुष्य और मन पीड़ा से भरे होते हैं. So मनुष्य से मन का जन्म होता है, and when this मन transcends, evolves, वो पूरक होता है तो पुरुष बनता है. और जो पूरा पुरुष बनता है वो पुरुष उत्तम होता है, पुरुषोत्तम होता है, पुरुषोत्तम रामा होता है. So Purushottam Rama is a pratik, it's a representation of a complete man, a vibrant, radiant, 100% evolved, empathetic, sympathetic, benevolent, equanimity full, a man with homeostasis, whose character and personality is perfectly balanced with the Vata, Pitta, Kapha, Doshas balance. And if there is no flaw in your personality, there will be no flaw in your body because there will be no manifestation. So, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mad, Maya, Matsara. And also, if you look at Pancha Kleshas, if you look at Pancha Kleshas, Raga, Dvesha, Avidya, Asmita, and Adinivesh. Now, all these are connected to attachments, desires, lust, greed, anger, ego. Now, these are the problems, the dis-ease in your personality, disorder in your personality, which eventually, so anger gives you ulcers, ego, ahankar, ahankar will give you a stiff neck, stiff back. It will translate into that. It will make you make mistakes, make you fall. Now, similarly, so Ayurveda, when they counsel humans, they understand the personality, and then the medicine and the herbs will complement the personality, correct the dis-ease, and bring the ease in breathing first.
Okay.
Regulate the functions of breath, functions of heart, functions of stomach, Jataragni, improve the digestion, and they will advise you to eat Prakriti Anusar as per your nature first and as
Got
per the nature of your environment. So, regional, seasonal food, regional, seasonal behavior, and they bring in the aspect only Ayurveda medicines. bring in the value of ether in the medicines.
Okay.
And Akasha is very, very prominent, plays a very prominent part in balancing our other elements. So if we look at Pancha Mahabhuta, which means we are made of, so 72% of the living beings, our we are, is water,
Yeah.
12% is earth, 6% is air, 4% is fire, and 6% is ether. Now, this ether can only be uplifted, elevated, transformed, used for transformation, and activated to activate our chakras, because only ether can directly activate the chakras in
Yeah.
asanas, in pranayama, in dhyana, in japa, in tapa. Or if you're a musician and playing in rhythm, or if you're singing in rhythm, so, or if you're an artist. So it is said that art is unconscious religion and religion is conscious art.
Amazing. As in, I think that the response has so much of depth in it, right? And it becomes so simplified that how exactly then human has to take care of these important aspects that we actually do we usually miss out, right? We've been kind of focusing on whatever is trendy right now, I would say. So whatever is
Yeah.
in trend, okay, let's pick up keto diet. It is in trend, right? A lot of people, a lot of so let's become vegan, right? So that's also in trend, right? I think that that's what exactly has been happening in. So let's move to another very interesting question. I think that out of this conversation, and there are very similar questions the audience have also asked. So let
Yeah.
me move to the next question. So. I think that nearly every day, right? There's a new scientific study which talks about diet and a health which makes it a headline, right? And we may be tempted to throw up two hands in frustration and go back to our old eating habits because there's so much of information about different diet plans that we have available, right?
Mhm.
And with an ever growing list of healthy eating trends focusing on what not to put in your bodies, we tend to really overlook why we cannot put those nutrition food into our bodies. So that's something which
Okay.
has always been very confusing. So nutrition
Okay.
and eating habits can end up being the most controversial and confusing part of a holistic wellness outlook. So
Okay. Okay.
how can one cut through all this noise and find a personalized plan that is right for him or her? Because I think that that is something ideally we all have been striving and looking forward for. As I just
Okay.
mentioned about it, it is more to do with trends. What is trendy we follow.
So let me tell you, okay, let me crack an adult joke over here, a clean adult joke. Watch everything that you put in your mouth. Okay, eat healthy, be healthy.
Yeah.
Now coming to the point of diet. Let me tell you, the word diet should be passe or is passe. Nutrition should be in, and it's now that when people are talking about well-being and nourishing oneself and not losing weight is passe.
Yeah.
Nourishing oneself is in, because when you nourish yourself you will lose weight, because nourishment means not eating the wrong, and nourishment first means consumption. And to me, consumption is like, if people were to ask me, what do you eat in the morning for breakfast? I say, I eat breath for breakfast. I consume sunlight for my first energy.
Yeah.
I listen to the chirping of the birds to trigger my endocrine hormones, happy hormones, to regulate them. I look at the vast expanse of the sky, which is blue, the brown of the trees, and the green of the grass, and I satisfy my eyes, and I get infinite vision with infinite energy. So everything correlates, everything associates, everything translates into energy into you, and everything translates into immunity. Trust me, the immunity triggers with the first breath. The immunity triggers with the first light of sun, because heat works on you, breath works on you physiologically, biologically, bioelectricity, biochemistry. It's scientifically validated. Chirping of the bird, sound. Okay, smell of the grass, or smell of the orange, or smell of my herbal tea, or smell of my vegetable or fruit juice if it is in the morning. Everything translates into nourishment. And then, of course, love nourishes you, joy nourishes you, optimism nourishes you, a good massage nourishes you, touching your parents' feet nourishes you. They are your first gods. Hugging your wife, your children nourishes you. An act of charity in the morning nourishes you. And then food nourishes you. So after the first 10, 12 things nourish you, then food nourishes you. And in food, regional, seasonal. And remember
Yeah.
one thing, and remember one thing. Swasth, as I said, is Swayam Mein Astha, is about faith. Swasth also has connection with Swas. And Swas means your breath. And if your
Yeah.
breath has to be clean, your food has to be clean. Now, if your food has to be clean, and if your food is clean, and the best sound, your best sound, best vani, best vak, best thoughts, best words, best intentions, best attitude comes out of it because sattva gun happens. Satwicness happens. Okay, so charitra becomes pavitra.
Yeah.
So when swas has to be purified with food, so श्वास से बने स्वर, स्वर से बने सुर, और सुर से बने संगीत, और संगीत से हम बन जाए तरंगीत. So when your food is pure and sattvic in nature and clean, green, be lean, don't be mean. Plug out from the machine, plug into your heart, go green. Eat natural. Don't eat preserved, processed, packaged. Although eating a little bit of ketchup sometimes is not an issue.
Yeah.
But don't live on tinned and packaged foods. Live on seasonal, regional. And our Indian Desi way of thali, with
Yeah.
6 to 7 tastes of Ayurveda derived from natural sources of food: sweet, sour, salty, spicy, astringent, bitter, pungent. When these 6, 7 tastes come to you in natural form in an Indian thali, you are completely nourished.
Great.
So
I think
nourishment
that you
comes
you
through
you made
taste.
it. Yeah. So you made it so simple because I think that a lot of people have been kind of looking for a trendy diet plan to follow, what to eat, what not to eat, less of carbs, more of fat, or reduce
It's all
fat and
nonsense. So carbs, proteins, your fatty acids and your vitamins, they will all be contained and consumed in your 6, 7 tastes of Ayurveda through natural
great,
sources. So your
great.
grains, your millets, your pulses, your sprouts, your salad, your yogurt, even your bitter, your Karela. I mean, Indians were the first one to talk about Karela, the bitter gourd.
Yeah.
So Indians knew exactly the value based eating system of the human body, which helps a human mind evolve, a human body evolve. And the whole system of Ayurveda and yoga put together are not preventive systems, they are creative and productive systems. And they can make a human life eternal. If you
Yeah.
were to practice everything to the letter T, you can live forever. That's my guarantee.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I think that you relatively picked up a very relevant point, that it's your surrounding also which plays a very important part in terms of your nourishment, own nourishment. So the air
Very
that you
deep.
breathe, right? So because till the time that your mind is not healthy, right, whatever that you even intake in terms of all the healthy diets will not be able to kind of suffice or complete the nutrition that your body requires at
Absolutely.
that point in time. And absolutely, the staple diet is the best diet, and I think that regional food, when you mentioned, so that if in case you take your regional food, I think that's something which is required, because that is the only way. So since our ancestors, we have been relying on those diet plans and food, and they've
Absolutely.
been healthy, they have lived longer, right? And now we kind of been moving towards those exotic vegetables, fancy food which is coming in the market, because their
It's
advertisements have been
okay.
very fancy. Yeah.
It's okay, but I'll tell you that things like celery, the mushrooms which don't grow here, the avocado, they
Yeah.
are very healthy vegetables. I don't
True.
deny.
True.
But you certainly can consume them, but before that, you consume your regional produce
Reasonable. Yeah.
and let that be a garnish. Let your mushrooms, your avocado not be your mainstream meal. Your mainstream meal should be your millets, your grains, your vegetables, your fruits in your season,
Yeah.
of your side of the world.
Yeah.
Because it is meant to be scientifically to heal you, it's a therapy for you. Food has to become therapy. You're the father of medicine. Hippocrates said, let thy food be thy medicine. And if you see, a perfect Indian family kitchen is always a pharmacy. It's not a kitchen. It's always a pharmacy. सर्दी जुकाम हो गई ये ले लो. हाँ
I
वॉमिटिंग हो
agree.
रहा है ये ले लो. सिर दर्द हो रहा है ये ले लो. And
Yeah.
everything natural. Everything
Yeah.
natural.
Absolutely. I think that in our own kitchen we have absolutely right. We have a pharmacy, and you have medicines available or cures available for every problem that you have.
So it is said that medicines cure, but nature heals.
Nature heals.
Nature
Absolutely.
heals. Nature always heals.
Great, great, great. So wonderful, as in so amazingly kind of translated and well explained. And I think that you've made a lot of our audience very clear about it. That there are no trendy diets that you need to follow. Stick to all nutrition food that you get. And again, as I said, that regional food is the best food and the seasonal food. So try and stick to that because that's something which always nourish you. A great surrounding around you could actually help you to have a wonderful, healthy life. So
Yep.
let's moving to the next question now, right? Now, when Western science is stating to provide some concrete clues as to how yoga works to improve health and well-being. It is usually been believed once you understand them, you'll have even more motivation step onto your mat, right? So the ability of yoga to help dial back from your for both physical and mental problem is enough reason to try it at least. But
Yep.
definitely, and there is a lot beyond that, right? So according to you, what are the long-term benefits of yoga, right, for your health, right? How exactly yoga could actually go ahead and have a long-term can give you long-term benefits of health.
Okay, if the philosophy of life is here and now, let's look at the immediate benefits of yoga and Ayurveda. So, when you do pranayama, your blood pressure comes to normal, your mind gets calmed and tamed, domesticated, so your stress gets alleviated, dissolved, dissipated, literally. जिसको
Yeah.
हिंदी में बोलते हैं विसर्जित विसर्जित हो जाता है.
Okay.
Okay, your digestion improves immediately in here now. Your blood circulation improves in here now, carrying, blood full of nutrients to all your cells. Okay, your toxins are flushed out here now. Your nervous system is becomes astute and sharp in here now. Your cognitive strengths become better here now. Your elimination of toxins, putting them in the right channels of elimination happen here now, beginning
Yeah.
with your sweat and beginning with breathing out carbon dioxide. So first of all, forget long-term benefits. Each time you do yoga, you have instant benefits like instant coffee.
Wow.
That's number one. Now, if you do yoga every day, now these benefits are deposited in a bank of your health. And that bank credit, if keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, you will never be in debt of disease.
Yeah.
And eventually, your immunity becomes invincible and infinite. And subsequently, I'm saying that life becomes a breeze. So, long term benefits are disease free life.
Yeah.
Long term benefits, you will not die on a hospital bed with pins and needles and surgeries.
Yeah.
Long term benefits, you will be able to play with your grandchild, great grandchildren, and great great grandchildren also if you keep it up well. If you
Wow.
don't lose it, if you don't miss it, if you don't go off it. And now, see, modern science tells you about balance, balance, balance. It's not about balancing, balancing, balancing. It's about being centered. And both don't mean the same. They may sound similar, but it is being centered. And being centered is not actually trying to balance. Being centered is not being either on the extreme
Or the
polarities of life, you know.
yeah.
Be completely
Right.
centered and calm, cool, and collected, because in the center, you're calm, cool, and collected. And when you're struggling to balance, you're not calm, cool, and collected. You are literally struggling. You
Absolutely.
are in stress.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So very, very, very rightly said. I think that we usually get confused with keeping a balance and being centered, right? And
Yeah,
you really made it very clear, right? Definitely, whenever that you're trying to balance, you never stable, right? So you always in a chaos, right? How
absolutely.
to balance, how to keep that balance, how to continue to keep that balance. And
Yeah.
when you are at a center, it is so simple. You know, you understand it well, right? So
You're anchored. You're
yes,
anchored in the
yes.
center.
Yes.
And you know, today the modern sciences, the modern frontiers, there are sciences of brain plasticity, neuroplasticity, epigenetics, transgenerational epigenetic reset, the science of telomeres and telomerase, the science of mind-gut axis, and I let me add something to it, gut gravity axis, the science of microbiota, microbiomes. All these sciences are now pointing towards one thing:
Yeah.
equanimity of your being, equanimity of your being, homeostasis, the perfect confluence of energies which are completely stable. And this translates into yoga and Ayurveda, or yoga and Ayurveda translates into this. Otherwise, there'll be a constant struggle. You'll become a juggler. You'll remain a juggler in the circus. And this is not the yoga of the acrobatic circus yoga. Okay, I can do this, I can do that. That is, I mean, when you do that, what's happening to you inside? The whole experiential awareness, the process of the constant continuity, discontinuity, continuity, discontinuity, and the seamless awareness being in that posture and then changing postures in poetry brings about that evolution, transformation, elevation of mindset, opening up of perspectives, opening up of perceptions. So, the four pillars of wellness and well being are: conserve your breath, preserve your body, be established in the flow, and synchronize your unit rhythm with the unity rhythm of the cosmos. Because as I said, that yoga is about congruence of two opposite polarities and energies. Ganga, Yamuna becomes Saraswati at a point where yoga meets, where they both lose their independent identities and become a new entity. So
Yeah.
creativity happens through yoga from being centered. So confluence of energies, where energies don't contradict, they don't conflict, they
Yeah.
complement. They complement. And they meet at the point called Shunyam. My book, The Shunyam Quotient. Guys, if you give that book to someone, they'll dance on their head after reading it. Then number two. So number two is consonance of your frontal cortex when you're connecting with people. Life is all about connections.
Yeah.
And life is about savoring connections, not severing connections. Okay? And then life is about congruence of your geometry with the cosmic geometry, and
True.
your geometry with the world and connecting with people, obliterating the lines of your limitations of your body and connecting with the heart, mind, and spirit. And lastly, yoga is about, the consonance, the resonance of your limbic mind, your reptilian brain, which has memories of millions of years, and which makes you a mammal, which makes you emote, which makes you connect, which makes you vibrate your vibes
Yeah.
at the frequency of every human, at the frequency of every tree, bird, bee, grass, stars, skies, everything put together, everything animate, inanimate, animate, you simply resonate and celebrate, integrate, celebrate.
Amazing, amazing. And I think that you very, very rightly said at the initial when you actually giving your response to this question that yoga isn't like it works like an instant coffee, right? So you do it
Yeah,
instantly, you get a result, and definitely the long-term results you very well explained, and you mentioned it categorically, that you have a disease-free life, right? And you
I'll give
live
you an
longer.
example.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I was visiting somebody in an ICU,
Okay.
and on the bed in the next cabin, somebody was becoming breathless. And
Okay.
obviously, he's just post surgery becoming breathless. And they were, going around tossing, turning to get the oxygen cylinder onto him. I just forced my intervention and I said, just breathe, breathe, breathe. I screamed in his ears. He was struggling to breathe because something was obstructing his breath, but the very conscious yell in his mind created a conscious command in his mind, and he started pulling air, and he started
Yeah.
pulling air, and he normalized. So yoga is instant. You start pulling air, and when I've been working with terminally ill people, so that death doesn't take them by surprise in the nights. Normally, 70% of the people die in the night because they're
Yeah.
very unconscious people, ignorant people, people full of disorders, disease, malfunctions, ailment, decay, and death. So that death doesn't take them by surprise in the night while they are asleep, I tell them that before you sleep, take 21 deep breaths minimum, and you will never have a heart failure in the night. Because consciously, if you breathe 21 times, you put your body in the rhythm of conscious pattern of bringing back the memory of breathing, and your body will not fail to breathe.
Wow.
It will transcend, it will override your faults, your defaults, and it will override that, and you will succeed. And we've worked with so many terminally ill people, and we've brought them back to life. I've worked closely with surgeons and the GPs, and I've worked closely with lung doctors, chest doctors, oncos, orthopedics, and paralytic patients. We've got them to stand again even after 85. Those who couldn't even sit, and made them walk for 5 kilometers every day. Because death is not your destiny.
Yeah.
Death shouldn't be your destiny. Death has no right on life. Death is the culmination of diseases. Diseases are the culmination of your choices. So choices bring disorders, disorders bring disease, disease brings decay, decay brings death. Don't associate death with old age. No. Associate death with only your choices. Culmination of your choices.
Great. As in, sometimes that speaking to you, it feels like that it's an illusion, right? So I don't know what kind of a world that we have been living in so far, and the way that you actually express and put it across to us, as to me at least, I feel it's an illusion, right? So I don't know. It's a magical world. It's a wonderland for me, wherein you can control everything, though, and that's what exactly that. And again, you have managed to do that. You have controlled your age, biological cycle. You have controlled everything that you could do it, right?
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think that for us, I we really wanted to kind of go ahead and learn it from you. How to really make that happen in our life, in terms of how this illusion can become a reality someday, right? We
It's
could have a
simple.
control. Yeah.
Simple, Amit. So, Amit, if from now, let me tell you the power of thought. The world is talking about it, power of intention. But actually, it is the Rig Veda which said this 5,000, 7,000 years back. That we are what our deepest desires are. As are our desires, so will be our will. As will be our will, so will be our intentions. As will be our intentions, so will be our deeds. And as will be our deeds, so will be our destiny.
Wow.
Now, even if you intend now that I just want to reverse my aging clocks and reverse my ailing clocks, and take a first deep breath, the mission will start in the body now, because the moment you fire a command, your DNA will start working, your genes will start beginning to change, and they will begin to express in a completely new way this very moment. An intention of eating a good meal makes you drool. An
Yeah.
intention of energizing yourself will turn the clocks inside you at your command. And you can make your whole body subservient to you. You don't become a slave to it. So just intend it now, start changing now, and then take it forward with your actions, words, and behavior, and an attitude of optimism. So don't doubt any laws of nature, even if they don't appeal to you. Leave the how to nature. You simply understand the why and do it.
I think I'll follow it instantly because this has really impacted me, and I'm sure that I could also see a lot of comments from the audience as well who've been really appreciating this conversation. And I think that
Mm.
it is a very different perspective. And I think that when people would start looking at this, because usually what happens to us is that we feel that nothing is instant, right? And
Mm.
Ayurveda and yogas have always been taught about in that way that it's a longer practice that you need to follow, and then you probably would get the results. But the way that you have expressed it, I think that it actually makes a lot of sense. That it gives you an instant boost, it gives you an instant cure, it gives you an instant trigger, right? It fires inside your body and brain, right? What do you need to do? Because I think that any point of time, right? So being healthy and fit, or whatever that you talk about, well-being or wellness, it's a continuous process. You can't really do it in 2 days, weeks, months, or a year. So it has to
So,
be
so
continuously done throughout your lifespan. Then only it should become a habit or a part of your lifestyle.
certainly, absolutely.
Great, great. So moving to another interesting question, and I am assuming another amazing response from you, because right now I am in a magical world, right? When we actually talk about it, and this is something which is very common, that we feel that, unlike popular belief, when holistic wellness is more than just exercise and nutrition, right? Now people talk about it. Stress, sleep, mindset, relationship are all important areas to focus on for a better physical and a mental well-being. How can one achieve this real part of holistic wellness? Because you yourself, though you've tried answering that question, that even if in case the surroundings that you see, right, you can probably breathe the air, you can feel the grass, and you can get the vibrant colors around you, and you can probably go and chase them, get some positivity from them. But do you have uh, do you think that we could have a process, or we could do certain practices so that we could achieve this real part of holistic wellness as a practice?
So it starts with Dincharya. So Dincharya in yoga and Ayurveda
Mhm.
means that how you regulate your day, how you move through the day, what are the things that you do in a day which
Yeah,
takes you upwards on the graph of health. So it begins with absolutely waking up in the hour of 6.
yeah,
So for that you need to sleep early. Remember one thing, when the earth is moving around its axis.
yeah,
Okay? You know
yeah,
why tides are caused? The tides, the moon phases, they're all caused with magnetic field.
yeah, yeah,
Same magnetic field also influences, impacts you.
yeah.
So in this magnetic field, the energies deplete the fastest after 10:30 in the night, 10:30, 11 in the night. So the later you sleep, the faster, more energy gets depleted if you
Okay,
are awake. So
okay,
sleep by 11ish, sleep by 11ish, wake up by 6ish, 6:30ish. Now this small change can improve your health big time. Big time.
okay.
Just preponing your sleeping time and preponing your waking up time. Isn't that so simple? Literally.
It seems very
And
simple. Yeah,
seems very simple. Number two, we all faff around when we wake up. First things first, when you wake up, go to the closest door and window and start breathing deep, because while you were asleep, you were breathing not more than 4 5 times a minute.
okay,
So start breathing deep. So as you start, jumpstart your lungs and
yeah.
jumpstart your heart.
Mhm.
So when your heart and lungs get jump started, your hormones, your glands, your digestive system, everything gets jump started.
Great.
Otherwise, it will remain sluggish if you don't jumpstart it. And while you're doing that, you're facing the sun. the sunlight at least, direct or indirect. When that sunlight hits any part of your skin, if not directly your head here,
Yeah.
if it hits here directly, it will help you. Instant release of serotonin,
Okay.
feel good hormones, happy hormones, joy hormones. Okay. And a calm affirmations, visualizations, and then of course mingling with the environment. So just doing these simple things before even getting into yoga or food, I'm saying this can change 50% of the landscape of your health.
Wow.
50%. All right. And the rest 50% will be taken care of by finishing your dinner by 6:37, trying to eat one solid meal a day, and otherwise eat fruits, salads, nuts, seeds, uh, fruit juices, coconut water, herbal teas, soups, etc. जो एक बार खाए वो योगी, जो दो बार खाए वो भोगी, और जो बार बार खाए वो रोगी. And then, how much? Tell me. I have a capsule in mind called Fit in 5. In
Yeah.
5 minutes, one can do maintenance of fitness.
Okay.
And 5 minutes, and nobody is so busy in life that they can't spare 5 minutes in life.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the president of the United States is the busiest office or man on this earth. And now President Bill Clinton also did everything he wanted to do, prioritizing he had time to do.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah. I
five
agree.
minutes, 5 minutes is just perfect. So get your 5 minutes to start with. First 5 minutes, put it in your right pocket. Second 5 minutes, put it in your left pocket. So first month, 5 minutes. Second month, the second 5 minutes. The third month in your back pocket, the
My
fourth in
pocket.
your other. So in 4 months, you'll have 20 minutes in your pockets. In 12 months, you'll have 60 minutes in your pockets, and not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I agree because a lot of people actually claim that we don't get time, but it is just not about time. It's about they don't want to do it. So it's their willingness also, which or they
It's
do not, and they
self
probably
driven.
it. Yeah. So I think that's one, and I think that they do not have that belief and faith in it that it
Yep.
can really change and it can really will make some difference in their life. But I think that you are a true example wherein people should see, look at you, and can see that okay, how exactly things have transformed, right? I don't know, as in you have been practicing it since very young age, but people like me
Hmm.
who start at this age, I am not too sure that how potentially it will benefit me.
It's whenever you decide to start walking, you will walk and cover ground.
Yeah. Okay,
Whenever you
great.
decide to start walking, you will walk and cover ground, and you'll be unbound. But remember, if you want to see a sunrise, always walk towards the east. Take the right direction.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's something which is very important because we've not been able to kind of decide what we want to do in our life, and that is what exactly happens with most of us, and that is the reason that we fail, and then we actually go ahead and blame the rest of the things. It could be my work, it could be anything else which did not let me do it the way that I
Yep.
wanted to do it in my life. Absolutely. So so we'll pick up the last question for this evening, and I think that I've
Yes.
already taken a lot of your time. Yeah, and if you allow me to.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course. Don't worry. I have a lot of time.
Okay, great. So I think that when exactly that we just spoke about this, that we all need to invest some time, right? And I think that as you mentioned it very simply, that okay, you need to find time for yourself, right? So those 5 minutes are not difficult to find, and even the busiest person on the earth, right, or on this planet, they also try and kind of find out time for themselves in this busy
Yep.
schedule. So in this period of the universal change, right, when people talk about how COVID had really changed the entire life of an individual, the corporate people are really struggling to manage their work. Their working hours have been increased. Their responsibilities have gone beyond their control. So in this period of this universal change, with circumstances beyond our control, right, we can gain a sense of empowerment by focusing on the aspects of our life within our control, beginning with emotions. and that's something which I feel is very important, and I wanted to kind of get an answer for this. How do you feel emotions impact our physical well-being? Because sometimes what happens is that uh, 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 we do not know, right? Because we might do everything good, we might probably follow that time, or those rituals and regime wherein we will focus on your health being and all that. But what happens is that emotionally we are not satisfied, emotionally we are weak, the relationship around us are not working out. How do you think, how much important emotion is for any physical, for a physical well-being for an individual?
I'll use the word equanimity. I'll use the word equanimity of your mind, because emotions are the product of your mind, of your
Yeah,
perceptions, of your perspectives. And once again, going back to how food can influence your mind and emotions.
yeah,
Chocolates make children happy,
yeah,
right? Booze makes the grown up happy.
yeah,
So select your food well, and choice of exercise and breathing well. They will have a very, very positive, optimistic impact on your emotions. It will not weigh you down.
mhm,
Shit will happen, but it will not weigh you down.
yeah,
So, your workout, your breathing, your food, your optimism in your attitude, your affirmations, be an alpha male by having an alpha mind and attract the change you want to change. If change is constant, be the choreographer of it. You be the master of it. You be the Harry Potter. You be your Harry Potter. So playing out at the hands of the destiny and blaming the destiny is stupid.
yeah,
Indeterminism, yeah, indeterminism and uncertainty is your playing field, as I said when I
yeah,
opened. So, if you're super conscious, you will have a seamless change, and you
yeah,
will turn around the negativity of any negative impact of emotions very consciously by bringing back cheer, joy. And when you are healthy, you're also humble.
yeah,
And when you're humble, there is harmony, because humility makes you say sorry. Your humility makes you take the first step. Your humility makes you throw the bridge. Your humility makes you draw the person or reach out. So
yeah.
health, harmony, humility, and your
True.
will change all the emotions within you. A good exercise. See, if you're low and out, just go out for a walk and come back. You
Yeah,
will be a different person. You will not be the same. You will not be in the same low. Your low would have changed and gone a little bit higher.
yeah,
Now, instead of a walk, go out and stretch, breathe, exercise, sit, and come back. You will still be better off.
true.
And if you want to be absolutely fine, go out, stretch, walk, breathe, exercise, then sit in meditation, calm, and come back. You'll come back 100% fine. And it is said that the solutions are always there. Problems are created by us. So you will be able to see the solutions, and you will have the courage to approach the solutions.
Absolutely, and I think that uh, in nutshell, as in when you actually talked about yoga and how
Yeah.
you follow a routine and how exactly that you control your body, your mind, and soul. So I think that overall, how does it help is like it improves your sleep, right? Which in turns gives you a lot of energy and focus during the day. And when you feel better physically and mentally, you have energy to adopt better habits, including a healthier diet and a physical activity. And these changes can in turn lead to a better everything in terms of weight control, or it can actually help you to uh, 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 get away with all the physical problems and the diseases that you mentioned. So I think that with yoga, exercise, do not mention fewer ache and pains, and you can improve your sleep and you can go on this so that the cycle will continue,
Let me
right?
tell you
And
something on heart. So, for people who have heart diseases and for people who don't get sleep, there is one very great remedy. Be extremely charitable in your emotions in forgiving people. That's number one.
Okay.
Letting go. Number two, be very philanthropic in actually sharing. Be very nice to your drivers, peons, maids, cooks. Very nice. Make sure they eat the best. Make sure they eat before you. Make sure the children in their village get good education. Make sure that their parents in their home don't suffer illnesses. They get good medical aid. And trust me, looking at them smile and happy, you will get good sleep every night.
Yeah.
And when you flow out of your heart and give, 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 your heart will literally flow well and beat better. Because this is what resonance is all about.
Yeah.
This is what resonance is all about. And literally, in that flow, you'll be relieved much, much, and much. And I think towards the end of this, I'd like to, share my 10 commandments of wellness with the viewers.
Sure. 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 Sure.
The 10 commandments are thus. Commandment number one, let wellness be your religion number one, because wellness unites, religions divide. Wellness cleanses you, purifies you, integrates you, regulates you, fortifies you. And then you have better devotion to become a better Hindu, better Muslim, better Christian, better Parsi. So your devotion will come to fore with
Yeah.
wellness.
Yeah.
Join Wellness Revolution. Join Dr. Mickey Mehta's Wellness Revolution for human evolution, not for weight loss.
Yeah. Yeah.
Evolve. Follow your purpose, and the universe will fulfill your dreams and take you on the path to evolution. Only humans have the potential to rise above gods and fall below animals. You, me, are gods in seed form. Krishna, Christ, Buddha, Zarathustra, Muhammad, Mahadev were all human beings.
Yeah.
So divinity is in the principle and not in the personalities. So divinity is in the principles and not in the personalities. Okay?
Yeah.
And so number three, for strong biceps, uplift the poor. For strong shoulders, take the responsibilities of the underprivileged. These are some very good exercises. For strong legs, be rooted in humility to be better fruited in humanity.
Wow.
Sleep every night with a wish to heal yourself. Wake up every morning with a promise to heal the world. And then you will get naturalized, you will get energized, you will get maximized, you will get optimized, you will get internalized, you will get eternalized, you will get evolutionized, you will get revolutionized, you will get synchronized, you will get synergized, you will get revitalized, you will get regularized, you will get negativity neutralized, you will get specialized into wellness and well-being initialized to get Mickeyized.
I think that these 10 commandments, these 10 rules, if anybody could actually follow, I'm sure that they'll be able to kind of live this magical world of Mickey Mouse, right?
Get
And it
Mickey
is very
Mouse.
important. Yeah. So it is so nice to have you here. And as I just mentioned that it was so interesting to know more about you, your perspective, and I'm sure that
Yep.
all our viewers would have thoroughly enjoyed the way that I've enjoyed. There were so many takeaways from this session. It's incredible conversation that I have, and I think that I will immediately, as in from right now, at this moment itself, that I'll start following all the principles and all the information that you've really given to us. Thank you, Dr. Mehta. It was wonderful to have you here, and I
Yep.
cherish this conversation. And there was a lot to learn from you, right? And definitely, we would request you to come back later, sometime with some interesting topics and this insightful of conversations, and have similar kind
Yep.
of an insightful conversation with you in the future.
Yes.
Thank you for your time. It was an honor to have you here.
Yes. Thank you so much. Share my
Thank you.
social media. Share my social media handles with your audience.
Absolutely. So,
They could follow me.
to all the audience, whosoever that viewing us live, and people who will see the recorded session after this, on the comment section, you will see a link which will be shared with you, which will have the social handles for Dr. Mickey Mehta. You can reach out to him. He's very much approachable. You can approach to him. You can speak to him. You can discuss things. Anything that you have, any problems that you, any concerns that you have, you can reach out, and he would be happy to answer all your queries. Uh, Plus, we will share a feedback form with you, which you can actually go ahead and fill it us and then send it back to us so that we could come back to you with some more interesting sessions like these. So
Thank
thank
you.
you, Dr. Mickey,
Thanks. Bye
and
bye.
thank you all the audience. Have a wonderful evening and a great
Thank you.
weekend. Take care.